Hey kids, welcome to another great episode of the Tipsy Irishman. With me always these days is Jake. Thank God he's here. And just a little quick sponsor. We got to find a way to pay the bills here. Get Grinds. Go to getgrinds.com. Today we're doing the habanero mint. Believe it or not, try it.
Same one as last time.
Try it. It's one of my favorites. It's
Yeah.
literally my favorite
Been on that one
because
for a
it's
minute.
nice. You get used to eating. You get used to having them in your mouth. This kind of wakes you up a little bit. It's not like spicy, like it makes you like ow. It's like if you have a nice spiced rye.
No.
If that helps you take them better. But anyways, go to getgrinds.com. When you're doing an order, go ahead and put in the Tipsy Irishman and the special instructions. That'll help me, and hopefully it'll help you. And with that being said, my friends, we're gonna let Jake take it away because he brought some special things, and we're gonna just be quiet and listen.
Well, yeah, we may not we may lose some friends over this one, so we're gonna give out some secrets tonight. It's widely known in the whiskey community, but not as widely known as it probably should be.
I got enough friends.
So right, so what we brought with us tonight. This is E.H. Taylor single barrel.
Yummy.
One of my absolute favorites. It's just a fantastic pour. Anytime you get your hands on it at retail, especially, it's like $79 or something like that. But it's impossible to find at retail. Secondary on these right now is running around $200 to $220.
Oh, yeah, single barrel. I had a small batch.
Yeah.
Single barrel.
Yep, single
Yes.
barrel. Really,
Love
really
that more.
expensive stuff. So, very, very good. Impossible to find. If you get it on the secondary, you're going to overpay for it. Little known fact, this is John J. Bowman single barrel. John J. Bowman sources their distillate from Buffalo Trace. So they buy directly from Buffalo Trace, they take it down to Virginia, they distill it one more time, and then they age it and bottle it in Virginia. It is labeled as Virginia whiskey because it goes through one more distillation process, the aging and the bottling, but it is Buffalo Trace mash bill.
How long is it aged?
I actually don't know because I don't believe it's age stated, and because it's not labeled as bottled and
You
bond,
said they aged it, so I was wondering if you know how long they aged it.
I honestly don't. But it's not late. It's not.
I threw him when he wasn't ready for it. Sorry, guys.
Well, it's an interesting question because it's not marked as bottled and bond. It's under proof, but it's not marked as bottled and bond, so it doesn't hit the minimum of 4 years. But they have switched over in the last 12 months-ish to making their own distillate. So John J. Bowman is now making their own and barreling their own. But anything you see on the shelves right now, especially in the single barrel, is going to be Buffalo Trace distillate.
So it's at least 4 years because it's Buffalo in there. Yeah.
Well, and it's distilled twice by Buffalo, but then it could sit in the warehouse for maybe a month before it gets to Virginia. I don't know how long they sit on it, and I honestly don't know if they even ship it in barrels. They probably don't. They probably ship it in some other type of container to why waste the barrel. But at the end of the day, it's Buffalo Trace mash bill. And the running theory is that it's mash bill 1. Again, Buffalo Trace doesn't release what their actual mash bills are, but we all have a general understanding of what goes into that. So tonight we're going to pour the E.H. Taylor and the John J. Bowman. We're going to do a blind for Ed, and we're going to kind of go back and forth between the two. The main difference between the two in the context of this conversation is price. John Jay doesn't get to Florida. The single barrel stuff doesn't get to Florida. At least I've never seen it. I've asked around a lot. I know a lot of guys in the industry. It doesn't exist here. This one came from Texas. The last buddy of mine got some from Atlanta and brought it down from Georgia. But it's like $45.99 or something like that for single barrel Buffalo Trace.
If it
distillate.
even hints of Buffalo, it's worth the money.
Right.
Or
Which is
if
outrageous.
it hints in this region.
And you go to some places where this stuff is just sitting on the shelf because people don't know. They don't know what they're looking at. And John Jay, there's a whole line with the Bowman Brothers line. They do port finishes, and they have a small batch, and they're relatively lower end stuff. $30-$40 is about that price. And when you look at the bottle, it's kind of unassuming, but it's meant to be Buffalo Trace distillate. So I'm going to go ahead and pour these up.
Sometimes the unassuming little weird-looking diamond in the rough bottles are amazing, so don't be scared. Sometimes just go in, and I've done that for months. You've seen it on the show. I just walk into a store and look for this bottom shelf sometimes, and it's one of the greatest finds I've ever had.
Well, and again,
That's what I'm saying, you know what I mean?
with Buffalo Trace being next to impossible to get your hands on these days,
I love the look of what he's doing, so.
if this is available in your area, I would highly suggest you go out and get yourself a bottle. This is my second bottle in like the last 6 months. I drained the last one very, very quickly because I absolutely love them.
And now we're going to drain this one.
We're going to drain this one too. All right, so here are our glasses. M&D glasses. Shout out Jay up at M&D. Shoot your brother.
Love you, Jay.
Scotland glasses. So both of these are going to come in right at 100 proof. Obviously, the H. Taylor bottle and bond. So the proof point should be very, very similar. The nose should be similar. Let's dive into them. Which one are you going to start with?
We'll do the right one.
We're going to start with the M&Ds. All right.
Ooh, that's strong.
I mean, that's just awesome, man. That Buffalo Trace, and
I always want to smell this one first before I drink it. But
there's something about the E.H. Taylor that I get that Buffalo Trace grapey note. Everybody says that the Buffalo Trace has this kind of a grapey smell to it, and I never really got it before the E.H. Taylor.
This is super effervescence for 100 proof.
Yeah, it's delicious.
It almost, man. If I didn't know already, I might say it's over 100, just for all the notes in there.
Very floral, fruity, sweet.
Make my eyes water.
Typical, your typical Buffalo Trace notes. Like I said, that grapey note kind of coming through, which is very rare for me. Like I said, I don't get that grapey note on a lot of things.
A little spice. Definitely a little spice.
Cheers.
Salute. That is, well, if it's that, we already know. That's amazing. If it's this, goddamn. That's good.
Yeah, very, very tasty. Classic caramely, sweet, decent lingering finish there for 100 proof. Like it's still
that's
kind
good.
of present in the mouth.
That's why I like E.H. Taylor. I don't know if it's E.H. Taylor, but I'm saying that's why I love all the E.H. Taylors, because they're all real nice to drink. They're real. I mean, even though you know you're drinking 100, sometimes I forget, especially on the small batch. I forget sometimes it's 100 proof, and I'm like just.
But yeah, that one's real. Just easy, delicate.
I don't know what that's what it
soft. For 100 proof, it drinks fantastic. It's got a nice finish to it. A lot of those 100 proofers in sub, the finish is quick, gets in and out. This has some lingering spice. It's not a heat. It's just it's a flavor. It's not like a really high proof.
I do like E.H. too. There's not a lot of it. It's not like a drink that you can.
Yeah, it's not
it's all mellow the whole time. That's
right,
why that's why it's dangerous.
Yeah, they go really quick, and like I said, they're impossible to find.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, let's jump into the Scotland glasses. Again, man, very similar nose.
When you do a breathe into it, and you get the backlash. It does, but it's more mellow for sure. I think you're trying to trick me.
I do every time. I try to trick you every time. Cheers.
All right, here we go. Oh, wow. Now with the smell, I was thinking it was this. Kind of has a buffalo mellowness taste.
They both are a little ethanol-y for my nose. Generally 100 proof.
That's actually hotter.
I can take a big whiff. Yeah, that definitely sits a little longer than the first one, but it doesn't drink hotter per se.
No, we lost
Trace.
Trace is down. We have a buffalo down.
Yeah, Trace is dead.
He's happy. It's a buffalo.
Yeah, Buffalo Trace night.
Yeah, that's good. That's actually nice. I didn't even plan that, but there we go. I want to say it's exactly as you have it. That's what I want to say.
You are absolutely correct. It is exactly what we have them now. Knowing what they are, though, when you drink them side by side, when this is a $200 bottle, if you're lucky, and this is a $45 bottle, how close are they to you?
They're pretty close. This is hotter, but more mellow in the smell.
I agree, and I think
the notes are more mellow. This almost smelled like buffalo. I mean, that's what I thought right away. Oh, that's Buffalo Trace, but maybe he's tricking me. I've had all these, so thanks to Jake here. And yeah, that's. I mean, they're both. This is for this price. This is fantastic.
Yeah, that's a single barrel Buffalo Trace distillate. You can smell it, you can taste it. It's 100% Buffalo Trace. Obviously, distilled one more time in Virginia, barreled and aged in Virginia. It's slightly different, and I think that's where you're getting that little bit more heat.
I'm almost going to say they age it maybe a couple more years.
It's definitely got a little more oak and a little more spice to it. Actually, it's more complex. This is very sweet and floral and fruity, where this is more oaky and deep.
Wouldn't you need to age it a little longer to get it to 100?
They water it down. So it's probably barreled at around 120 to 125 proof, and then as it ages, it gets higher, and then they water it down to the 100. So that's how they get it 100 on the nose. They're going to put a little proofing water in it and get it down to where they want it.
Get it where they want it.
Well, there's a lot to be said for that.
I'm gonna say they're probably great. I'm not gonna ruin these because they're lovely. Not that it's ruining. I want to enjoy these. Ice is probably not a bad thing with these. This for sure. I know you can put a little ice on it. This I wouldn't want to ruin it. It's good.
That John Jay is killer, and I'll tell you, this is, like I said, this is my second one in the last couple of months. This one is even different from the last one.
We'll do it.
Again, single barrel, you're going to get a little bit of variance. Some of the barrels are going to vary from one to another. I don't remember the John Jay having this much of a pepper note, but it's a nice surprise.
Pepper,
like that's very. It's like
almost reminds me of that Black Dirt a little bit.
Mm-hmm. But it's like
Black Dirt's better.
It's like you took an E.H. Taylor and added a black pepper note to it that's not normally found in E.H. Taylor.
Yeah, no,
and I like that a lot. I
Well,
like
I
it a
get
lot.
that. If you took it away, that would be closer to that. Interesting.
Yeah.
We're gonna try it. Kill the notes.
But I'm a big fan of pepper notes and whiskey, obviously, because I'm a big Russell's fan. Russell's Reserve.
Didn't kill it.
House.
It mellowed out the heat a little bit. That's good with a little ice. I won't do it to the. Won't disrespect.
Drink it how you like it, man. Listen, whiskey is meant to be drunk. You can make it an old fashioned with it if you want. It's what it's here for.
I'm old on that kind of time. A little ice.
So
we're good to go.
Little backstory to this, I was just eating dinner with the family tonight, and Andrea walks around the corner and she sees these bottles sitting by the front door, so I can bring them over here to shoot the show. And she goes, "Where are you going with DH10?"
Why does
I
the tipsy get them?
Yeah, I said, "Don't you worry about it. We got
It'll come back. It'll come back.
Anyway, I found out about the John Jay being a Buffalo Trace distillate right around a year ago, and ever since, anytime I can get my hands on a single barrel, and again, this is only going to be for the next few years because they are making their own, and eventually it's going to switch. But if you can get your hands on a John J. Bowman single barrel, it is Buffalo Trace distillate. It's usually sitting on the shelf. In most places that I found it, there's more than one bottle sitting there. Where this doesn't sit on the shelf anywhere unless they're charging too much money for it.
It sits behind the shelf.
Yeah, it usually sits behind the shelf.
Just let you know.
But I'd encourage you to reach out friends and family out of the state, see if this is something that they can get their hands on. Remember that the Bowman Brothers line is big. There's a lot in the Bowman Brothers line. This is John J. Bowman,
I wonder if
single
you could
barrel.
look it up and find out where it is, like where it's
Where they distribute?
The best places to find it.
I honestly don't know. I mean, like I said, my last bottle came from Houston. This one came from Georgia.
That's pretty far from Virginia. So.
Yeah, I know. It definitely gets around, and it's odd to me why it's not in Florida. I haven't quite figured out what the issue is there yet. But again, there's a lot of stuff. We just got 4-Gate this year. 4-Gate's just started getting to Florida this year, which is insane because when I was in Texas, 4-Gate was everywhere, and 4-Gate's fantastic. It's a great whiskey, but for whatever reason, it just didn't get to Florida. So
that's as crazy as Oregon having cases and cases and cases weekly.
Oh, the Eagle Rare
in Oregon.
Yeah,
of all that. Like lady said, I load my truck up if I wanted to. I'm like, well, I'm not driving, but thank you for that.
Going back left to right, starting with the John J. Bowman, I am getting that grapey note.
They're both delicious.
And maybe it's mental. Maybe it's just because I know what it is. But I swear that these higher end Buffalo Trace products, they have this kind of almost like a grape candy or grape soda flavoring to them on the back of my tongue that it's so distinct, and you can usually pick it out in an instant.
I like that. That's a good analogy.
Yeah, where like with Old Forester, you get that banana runts, banana candy kind of flavor. Buffalo Trace, to me, you get that kind of grapey. But I didn't get it initially until I got my first bottle of single barrel. I didn't really taste it on the small batch as much. I didn't taste it in the regular Buffalo Trace. Definitely not in the Blantons for whatever reason, because again, Blanton's a single barrel, so they're going to be different every one that you get. But the
not a fan.
Not a fan?
Yeah.
I'm not a fan for the money. Shocker. Not with what they're getting for Blantons these days.
That's my point. Yes.
Yeah.
It's not the hype. The hype. I just, again, y'all, I've all changed my views on the Buffalo Trace.
Your story is very common to a lot of guys that get into whiskey. The Blantons is like, oh, hype, you gotta get it, you gotta find it, and then they crack it, and they're like, wow, what am I after? Why am I breaking down doors for this? Yeah. Again, there's nothing wrong with Blantons, and when Blantons was a $45 bottle, $40 to $50, and it sat around at Total Wine, it was great.
That's the money right there.
Right, but now when they're retail on at $64.99 and secondary's up around $110, $120 just for a single bottle of it, and it's just not.
Just fantastic. Like for reference, the Kentucky Owl, it's confiscated, amazing, great, good flavor, not worth the money.
Yeah, not a $100 bottle. No, I agree.
It needs to come down to it's good $60 bottle maybe.
Well, we talked about that last
59.
week with the Bardstown Origin series, where these bottles are hitting the market $45 to $50, and they're bangers.
Damn good.
They're really, really good. So, but again, if you can get these for retail, I believe the retail on a single barrel is like $79.99. Don't quote me on that. So if you got a guy that's nice enough to get you one for retail, obviously snag every one of them you can get. The John J. Bowman stuff, keep your eye out for it. You're gonna have to reach out of state for that one. You're going to have to know somebody out of the state, or if you just happen to be traveling and you see a bottle on the shelf, this is one to definitely reach for. This is what I do when I travel. I try to find stuff that I can't get here in Florida. I want to see something different. I want to see something weird.
Exactly.
And that's how we
I did everything in Oregon was, I said, you know what, we're just going to do all Oregon crap.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean,
and it sucks because that shit was good.
The regional whiskeys can get really good here in Florida. We have a distillery called St. Augustine Distillery. They make a fantastic gin. And they make a pretty good vodka. Their whiskey, though, not the best.
I hear the rum's good.
Honestly, their gin is great. I love their gin.
As a retailer, may I just say I have not sold a single whiskey. Maybe we should give it a try. I don't know. We should just go to the distillery. They do it for free.
Actually, the distillery is a really good trip. If you're here in St. Augustine, you're visiting the oldest city in America, go check out the distillery. The bar upstairs is fantastic. My buddy was the brand rep there for a couple years. They do a great job. They make really good drinks there. The tour is really, really fun. And the whiskey's not undrinkable. It's just not fantastic. It's not the best. But like I said, the vodka drinks, the gin drinks, they're really, really good.
I haven't heard about the gin. We do sell the gin, by the way.
The gin's great. And for like
Actually, I think we sell it all now. We sell it all now.
I think the gin's 32 or 39 or something like that.
I don't know. Let me tell you, I'm sorry, guys, but all the prices.
Oh, everything's jumping.
Like, we change prices every week, up and down. But normally they do 50 cents, 75 tops. Since the first of the year, we're talking $4, $7, $10. I saw some scotch the other day, $11 jump. What? And it's stuff we're not even selling. It doesn't move. Let's make the one that's not moving cost way more money.
It's going to be tough in 2023, guys. We'll probably do a lot of series on some. We don't do a lot of budget bourbon on this channel, but we may end up getting into that space just because it's going to be nice for people to hear.
It's going to be hard.
What you can find for that $30, $40, $50 range. For Russell's 10-year for $35, I'm going to throw that out here now. We may do a show on that eventually, but it is probably, hands down, one of the best bottom dollar whiskeys you can get your hand on.
The Redwood Empire, that's pretty
good. The
good.
Redwood stuff is great.
Yeah,
and actually, Redwood just released cask strength versions of their entire lineup. So So Lost Monarch, Redwood Empire, they did cask strength first. They did
Monarch is my favorite.
Yeah, the Lost Monarch's great. I got a bottle of that at the house.
The other one, the Pipe Dreams, that's decent. Yeah.
But they just released a cask strength. They call it the Grizzly.
Yeah, I've seen the Grizzly. It's Total Wine, just so you guys can, if you want to look for it, that's where it's at.
But that's a good budget whiskey for sure. I mean, it's going to be tough this year. Labor's going up, shipping's going up, materials is going up.
Rare Breed's decent for the price.
Yeah, if you can get yourself a Rare Breed, $52.99-ish is a decent price.
I think it's $49 from the store. No?
Even still, I don't.
If you know me and you want some, come get it because I have a ton of it.
As a wild turkey aficionado, I love wild turkey. It's my favorite juice. I'm not a Rare Breed guy. Don't crucify me for it, but for whatever reason, the Rare Breed's lost on me. I don't get it. It's too peppery, too spicy. It's not fantastic, but I love turkey's product, so I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, maybe the next time around we'll start talking a little bit of budget bourbon stuff, something that's a little more attainable because it is.
When he said budget, I was thinking the bottom two shelves, and he's like, no, here. I was like, I don't know if I go back to the here because I'm kind of a snob now. I'm just
everybody's budget is different, and I'm willing to spend the money to try stuff, right? I will definitely throw down the money on something like this, $50 to try something random and finds out it's fantastic and I go buy a bunch of them, but I have definitely had some misses where I throw the money down and I don't like it. I can show you my phone, but I literally keep a list on my phone of whiskeys that I've tried that I don't like and at what price, and whiskeys I have tried that I do like and at what price.
I've gotten lucky. I gotta say, I've gotten lucky. Most everything I've bought has been worth trying.
Yeah, no, I honestly, I think the last thing, and I call it a drain pour. I didn't drain pour. I mixed it with Coke and drank this bourbon and Cokes. Was Larceny Small Batch. Larceny Small Batch was terrible. Last night I was drinking Larceny Barrel Proof, and it is awesome. It is so good. And I had written the brand off for so long because the small batch was so bad, and then I got my hands on a Barrel Proof, and it's fantastic. So don't write off the product line because one of them's not great.
As a guy who's done that, don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
For instance, I am not a Whistle Pig fan, but that was back when the show first started, or almost 2 years. St. Patrick's Day, the anniversary of the show, and I'm going to give Whistle Pig another chance because that's just what you should do.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe we should drop a little money on some decent Whistle Pig. So I got
even the generics. I didn't like them. I want to try them again.
You know what
I say generic, but it's like it's on the top shelf.
You know what I just got that we can do for that show? I traded some bottles over the weekend, and somebody brought me a 2-ounce sample of the Boss Hog, which is $599 Whistle Pig. It is $600 Whistle Pig. He brought me a 2-ounce sample because he bought it and he hated it. And he's like, hey man, you want to try? I was like, yeah, I want to try $600 whiskey. Let's see what we got. So maybe we'll try that one for the show and see. Of course, that doesn't fall in line with what we were just talking about doing budget bourbons, but it's definitely something different.
I just want to say, because I missed out on something. If you happen to have someone, you're having a conversation, you're in the business, and someone brings up when you guys are having a conversation and talking about whiskeys or bourbons or whatever, and they mention they have something, and your little spidey senses go up when they mention. I'm gonna say what it is. Got a gentleman came in my store, started talking. We got into bourbons and the Sazerac stuff, and he said, "Oh," and we started talking, and I mentioned Pappy's, and he says, "Oh," he goes, I've got a 15-year. Had one drink out of it, barely even a drink, like a sip. Hate it. Can't stand it. I don't know what to do with it. And because I didn't want to just jump on his throat and say, "Yeah, I'll take that," jump on it. Because he probably would have sold it to me or given it to me for dirt cheap.
Yeah, try it at a bar, man. If you got a whiskey bar
clearly
local.
believe he didn't know what it's worth. And not that I was trying to double sell it, just because I would drink it. I would drink the hell out of it.
Well, and I don't think worth should drive your taste. I mean, there's definitely some really
But I'm saying,
high-end stuff that's lost on me.
I love all the Pappies, and I think they're all rated.
It's funny that you said 15, because 15 to me is the sweet spot. That 15
That's
is
what I'm
great.
saying.
15 is really, really good.
That's what I'm saying. And I cultivated him, and I was kind of trying to get him to come back in because I got him some stuff, and he wanted to let me know what it tasted like and stuff, and he hasn't returned yet. And I want him to come back because I want that 15.
Yeah,
so,
no, Pappy 15
because I would
is
share
really
that.
good.
I have a lot of people who haven't had that, and I would love to make some samples and let people try it. And so if you get that opportunity, I would just say fight your gut to not go for his throat and just say, listen, what do you want to do with that? What are you going to do with it? Do you want it? Do you want to keep it? He got it as a gift, so he you know what I'm saying? Like, just work that and share it and make some people happy. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, no doubt. And I would never begrudge anyone their tasting whiskey. You like what you like, and you don't what you don't.
I didn't put him down for it.
My palate is completely different from almost all of my whiskey friends. So
We're pretty close.
yeah, we're pretty close. There's one bottle that I love last year, that Willet 8-year weeded that came out, that purple top Willet for like $280. I loved it, and I'd buy it all day at $280. And none of my friends are in the same boat.
Although he doesn't like the Pappy's 10.
No, I don't like Old Rip. Yeah, don't hang me for that one either. Old
But
Rip.
he won't get rid of it. I'm just playing.
Yeah, there's like that much of it left, but yeah.
That's enough. That's enough, son. That's enough.
I give that one out for samples. But anyway, back to the original point. Budget bourbon, John J. Bowman single barrel if you need your hands on it. Yep, very great price. Delicious pour. Very, very, very good. For the next few years, it'll still be Buffalo Trace juice. It's really, really good when you can get your hands on it.
Yeah.
So I'd keep your eyes out for it.
Well, kids, St. Patrick's Day is coming, and we're going to make sure we got a good show for you. And thank you for all coming out. And we're above 100, and we're keep going. So you tell your friends, because this just gets better. The more we get, the more it is, and the more Jake comes and hangs out. He's prettier anyway, so.
I'm here anyway just because I like drinking the whiskey. Gives me an excuse to break out the stuff.
And we appreciate it. As we should just say it's now the Jake Show.
Yeah, the whiskey benefactor.
It's the Jake Show, sponsored by Jake.
My wife gets on me all the time because we have so many bottles and we don't drink it fast enough. I'm so pumped to come over here and actually get it out and talk about whiskey.
It's been great.
I want to talk about whiskey.
And without him, I've seen stuff from him and 2 other people who really helped the show. I would have never got to try. So thank you, sir. And,
Yeah, absolutely.
And guys, I don't have one here. I just have ice. But drink one for me, because I'm gonna tell her now. We're drinking one for you.
Yeah, no doubt.
And until the next time, my friends, don't be thirsty. Get some booze. We'll see you on the next one.